I work as China Program Specialist at our College of Business, trying to support all the Chinese students here because College of Business has the biggest Chinese student population on campus here, and that create cultural conflicts and different type of issues based on the fact that Chinese culture and social settings are so different from Americans. So I work closely with Chinese MBA/Executive Option Program. That is a program offer 12-month intense training, finish 11 courses within 1 year, and let a student receive MBA degree. Trust me, you don't want to do that. Lots of things gonna happen. But most of our students will be first-time international travelers, even though they may have good level of English. Learning language is one thing. Learning the culture, the difference, the social settings is another whole different layer. Most of our students will have this social shock when they first time come over, and our job is to help them to merge into the local environment as quick as possible so they get ready for the semester in front of them. What we can help is to do their airport pickup and then their settling. So they don't need to worry about surviving situations. They don't need to worry about anything related to, just settle down and start to live here locally. More importantly, they need to think about how's the semester gonna start and what are some academic requirements, how they can pick up their languages quicker. So for our airport pickup and settling service, that's the area we need your guys' help using information technology, try to help us overcome the barriers, difficulties, and smooth out the work process. Right now is the traditional way of handling that. We have an online submission system. Before students come over, they need to submit their information and confirm with us if they want our free airport pickup service. They need to submit their name, gender, date of birth, their air company they're going to fly with, the flight number, date, time, and other brief information, for example, special requirement, or if they travel with families or friends, so forth. That part of the information we need them to be very accurate because it happened before they put in their wrong date. So we've been there, no people showed up. We try to work with airline companies. Those companies, based on security reason, they won't give out passenger informations. So it'll be very, very hard for us to find that student. And that's a huge risk if we cannot find a student on the list. That will become our obligation because in China, they won't say, oh, that's our mistake to book the wrong date or, send the wrong information. They will try to go after school and say, why didn't you do your work? That's how the Chinese culture pursue the topics like that, mostly. So we need to be very, very careful about it. And then we need to do the airport pickup. That is when the student actually arrive, we'll have student workers wait at the gate. We'll come to them, tell them the game plan, and then haul them from the airport to their hotels. That will based on how many of the students will come over that particular flight or close enough flights. Based on our experience, typically we will use 12 passenger school vans. 12 passenger school vans. With all the luggage and everything, if everybody got allowed 2 check-in luggages, we probably got 3 most of the time, just 3 new students per van with all the luggage. And those are what they call a 158 check-in luggage, it's this big, 50 pounds per piece. So it won't be pleasant to got more people with their luggage in the same van. Maximum will be 4, absolutely maximum will be 4. If everybody got a 1 check-in luggage, probably we can get 5 students. That's our lucky day. And for each pickup, we'll send minimum of 2 student workers. Minimum of 2 student workers. We may need more if we have more student come over because complexity got to be more important at a situation we got more students come over. But at least 2, 1 driver, 1 what we call fellow worker. It's for safety, for liability, and for all things, all the risks we think of. And our top number will be around 15 people from our work team, together with all the community volunteers and at the airport. That night we got 43 new international Chinese EMBA students. Think about, at that time, everybody was allowed 2 check-in luggages, plus personal items, plus carry-on luggage. So we got Fisk shuttle, we got 12-passenger van, also we got Liberty moving to haul all the luggage. And that night we got almost 30 from our campus, either student worker or volunteer. And then there's another criteria. If the flight stay on time, they arrive 2 o'clock in the afternoon and before, we will be able to help them with some following processes, which I'm going to detail later on. If they arrive after 2 o'clock, that will be our cutoff point. After 2 o'clock, technically we'll just help them to check in with the hotel, get a dinner, and probably do some brief shopping. Very, very brief shopping, because they're going to move our hotel pretty quick. They don't need to buy everything. They just need to buy some things, essential supplies they barely need for 2 nights, maximum. Okay, that'd be the first night. And then next morning, or if they come over before 2 o'clock, we start the on-campus process. On-campus process pretty much deal with the school procedures, most of them. First and most important part will be the VeriPass card. They all receive their M number by receiving the admission letter, but they need VeriPass to start so many different processes around campus. So that's our first stop. Everything has to go from here. And then after that, they can be split up or start from either one of them. That will be the banking, there's computer. Banking set up, computer account set up, and then the email account set up, I-94 printout. I-94 is a immigration documentation, record the entering and exiting of a country board. All international students need to maintain a clear record of that piece of paper so that later on there's no immigration problems with it. Okay, that will be all the on-campus school procedures, what we call it, school procedures. After that, we will get into the off-campus process. Among all the off-campus processes, there's one very important thing, that is housing. Housing. We need to group students based on their interests. We need to group the student anywhere from 3, 5, all the way up to 10. 10 being the absolute maximum number. The reason is typically we use 12 passenger school vans to haul them around. We got 2 student workers stay within each group. That leaves only 10, possibly 10 spot within the group. Just add another layer of trouble. Those students need to be grouped based on the criteria about what type of apartment they're looking for. What type of apartment they're looking for. And we will need to group them, include all the roommates if they want a roommate to live together. Sometimes we got students who want more privacy, or they know up front their friends or family may come over and visit, stay with them for a period of time. So they typically want either 1 bedroom, sometimes very rarely 2 bedroom, or even studio, so that they can get some privacy and extra space ready for families and friends to come over. And some people either know each other before they come over, or get to know each other during the night stay in hotel. They talk about the situation based on cost and safety and all the other factors. They want to live together. 2, 3, or 4 bedroom units. 2, 3, 4 bedroom units. And there's some other features, like if they want an all-inclusive apartment, or they want a conventional or traditional apartment which has no furniture in them. We're trying to group people together based on those criteria so that they have similar things to look around. The reason we want to do that is because we got some bad experience. As long as we allow students to look around, look through all options in the market, they lost their mind. They will not make a decision quick enough. Or sometimes they even, don't know what they're talking about. Remember, that will be totally different culture and country, language, and social setting, and they're under severe jet lag. And sometimes they get into panic mode because they don't feel they can trust us yet. They don't know us yet. So I got one student come over earlier where we have lots of options for her. She looked around more than a dozen, well, close to 20 options actually. And by the end, she mentally created a perfect unit for herself. It's all the features she's looking for with the possible lowest price. We told her there's nothing like that. That unit does not exist in the market. She does not believe it. She firmly believes there's a unit meet all the criteria that she proposed and with the lowest price. So by the end, we led her to the apartment that she demanded to look at again, and she realized that was not the dream apartment in her mind. It's because so many units or so many options with all the other conditions, she will not be able to function as normal. So right now, by grouping them together, we'll try to provide each group 3 or sometimes maximum 4 options based on absolutely best choice in the market. They may not realize what is best option. We knew. I've been here 12 years. When I first time arrived at Springfield, I never leave Springfield. I always in Springfield. So 12 years, always around campus. So I knew. Most of my student workers be here at least for 2 years. I got somebody been here for 5 years plus. They knew. They know all the conditions. And what we know which landlord to deal with will create less trouble. Sometimes, actually, there's some landlords we try to use as our backup option because those landlords get into troubles with our international students before. I'm not going to comment about the business style, but it's just not so typical with Chinese customs or culture. Let's put it that way. So we'll try to provide the best option based on their arrival time. If they come over earlier, we pick the best for them. If those options gone, we pick the next best option for them, lead them around. After housing, we need to provide a cell phone account setup. After cell phone, we have already got a whole lot of information and control over the group. We can let them go a little looser and more flexible. That will be Asian grocery shopping, and followed by that is the Walmart shopping. Reason for Walmart shopping there is Walmart is pretty much, at least in Springfield, a one-stop shop for most of life needs. However, Chinese students do have some other needs will not be able to satisfy with Walmart stores. For example, type of rice. You may not think about it. Rice is just rice, right? We pick up a 2-pound bag from Walmart shelf, that's pretty good to go. To us, it's not. Not at all. Not at all. That is why we get into a Chinese restaurant, so-called Chinese restaurant in Springfield. We get in there, order stir-fried, immediately we said, oh, this is not Chinese. Those are not Chinese. They're using raw rice. That's not right. So those rice only available over Asian grocery stores, along with some other seasonings. Soy sauce, bean paste sauce, spicy sauce, some other ingredients you may not think about, like at least 3 different kinds of radish, Napa cabbage. Well, Walmart sells Napa cabbage. That's a different species. That's a different kind. We're a little bit picky about things sometimes. Tofu. Some people from local hate tofu. We love it too. Our dear heart. We cannot live without tofu, basically. So we will do Asian grocery store shopping briefly within an hour. It should be done because those stores are small. And then Walmart shopping, anywhere from 2.5 hours to 5 hours. and people will spend a lot of money in there, like rice cooker. Um, Rice cooker will run out of stock periodically during that period of time of the year because each individual apartment will need at least one rice cooker. They will just grab whatever on the shelf. And those are pretty much required. Every new student may need that. Once in a while, there will be special students that have been here or they're returning students from other school. They have friends and families, but for our project, don't need to worry about it because that will be another layer of trouble. After those required items or jobs, we have two optional. One is furniture shopping. Another one is city utility setup. Reason is, like I said, we have generally two categories right now in the housing market around campus. All-inclusive deal will provide all furniture, internet, and TV, and utilities, all home appliance. Most of the students just need to get their personal items in there, start to live the life. And then the traditional apartment, they may have a stove, refrigerator, oven, may or may not microwave, and then nothing more than that. So student will choose traditional apartment because of the cost or the availability. They will need furniture shopping so that they can start their life. It's fulfilled. And then most of the traditional apartments, they will leave at least one item, if not two items, from city utilities. Like most commonly, it will be electricity or electricity plus gas. Because those are the items not really easy to control by the landlord, or the cost will go very severe. So the landlord sometimes do not want to bear the risks. If they need, we'll let them to the locations we select for them. Let them deal with the business and call it good. Everything I described will need to be performed and finished 100% done within 48 hours. First time we meet them at the airport. Yeah, 48 hours. The reason is we are on a constant rolling base. We got students coming in from day 1 until day 30 every day. Most flight, we got 11 flights one time per one day. For one day, 11 flights. So our drivers constantly travel down to the airport and come back, never stop. That was a long day for 14, 15 hours and 6 to 7 times drive to the airport. So our driver by the end say, well, now I can drive down to the airport blindfolded. I don't need to look at anything, just drive and get there safely. Okay, that's the brief process. There are some key points. First one is safety is always the first. We want to make sure, not guarantee, we want to make sure our new students safe, as well as our student workers safe. Okay, that's one goal. And then there's a constant dynamic regrouping process come along. From the beginning, they need to deal with on campus. And then they need to regroup for housing. They need to regroup for cell phone. They need to regroup for shoppings. Constantly going, regrouping. We will need to get those people regroup and assign student workers to different groups. Most of the time, we want to make sure, again, at least 2 student workers per group. So that's a very brief introduction about my work process for that period of time. Anybody get any questions so far?
What's the on-campus again? It's the bear card and then baking setup, computer setup, and then there's another one?
I-94s.
I-94.
Okay.
And then was there also campus tour as part of that as well?
Yeah, it will be go along the process when we lead them campus tour. Thank you very much. I always forget about that. And it's much needed because
I'm in the other class, so.
Yeah. For one time, we got a student complain about where to buy the textbooks. So, what's that about? Turns out she was on her cell phone. We'll do the brief tour. We didn't get into the bookstore. We just pointed to her house. The bookstore can buy books. She was on the phone talking to mom. You know, that thing happens. And another part will be about the information collection. Now I emphasize the 4 different areas. That is the pre-arrival information collection. That will be the airport pickup at your hotel check-in first night. That will be on-campus procedures. That will be off-campus procedures. Besides all of those, we got another round of information collection. That is after a student come over here, they get their school IDs, they get banks, they got an apartment, they got cell phones. We need to update those information within system. And by calling that a system, it is required by the Homeland Security. That is not, well, it's required by the school first. Because school only make formal communication available to student by school email account. So we need to know their email account for sure. And why we need, you would say we can search a name and get an email account. Why is that? Because Chinese names are 2 to 3 Chinese characters. Sometimes you have, when you convert that from Chinese writing to English spelling, sometimes it will be very similar among some people. For example, for one time we got 2 gentlemen, distinguished gentlemen, Zhang Jian and Zhang Jian. Actually, their names are exactly the same in English spelling. In Chinese writing, very different. Very different. In English, very similar. So we cannot just run the name search on the website and get email account or their email address. We need to collect their real email address at the real time. When they first set up, we need to get that. Make sure that's parallel, matched up with their name, M number, everything.
Now, is this the school email or is it a personal email?
School
email.
email. For those 2 Zhang Jian, one's tall and skinny, one's short and a little wider. They act differently, they behave differently. One was named Bruce, another one is Taylor. So, whatever. I don't know. But that happens. That happens. So we need to collect those information, and we need to collect those information at the spot it happened, or those information available. Right away, we want our student worker to collect those information, put that in the system. Reason we don't do that by the end of the day is because by the end of the day, there's no the end of the day, actually, for us. Our student worker get up at 8 o'clock, work until 2 each evening. You expect them to stay another 30 minutes or 1 hour sober, input all the information without error or risk is not realistic. And then also, those are brand new students facing totally different culture, language, and social settings. They will have gazillions of questions. You have so many questions, our student worker will be flooded with those questions. So we want our student input those information as soon as happen, so that they don't forget by the end. And some of our students will be overwhelmed with their new things, for example, cell phone services. Some of them may carry their Chinese cell phone come over, some of them will go offline, so-called offline for a couple of days. That's worse than quit smoking, trust me. In today's society, it's worse than quit smoking. You cannot bear that. As soon as they get their cell phone set up, they'll need to get back onto the WeChat, that's our social softwares. Get back online, announce it, hey, I'm alive again, and here's the newest update and so forth, and post all the pictures they took along the way. They don't have time to make sure they put in the system all the updated information. Sometimes they may put in wrong format. For example, in China, the address going from the biggest to the smallest. And here it's going from the smallest to the biggest. Our student worker will know what is the proper format to input. Our student don't know. Or sometimes they will make mistakes that are worse than don't know. Another thing, our student worker needs to already know how to put 4 and 7 in front of the cell phone number. Some new students, they don't realize that, or they don't know if they put 1 or 4 and 7 in parentheses, or how's the format, so forth. They don't understand those things. Time. You either use AM, PM system or you use military system. We need a reach agreement among student workers, and they will put everything together within those guidelines. So we ask our student worker to input those updated information as it happened, and then students just enjoy their life pretty much.